Welcome to the AA Sports Podcast, minor league feel with major league discussion. Here are your hosts, Alan and Alan.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 29 of the AA Sports Podcast. We are your hosts, Alan and Alan. So what's up, man?
Not much, man. See, you got your power back on after a brief delay.
Yeah. It seems like it's been raining every day here, and freaking the hurricane comes through, and there's nothing happens here, but then we get a little rainstorm, and our power's out.
Yeah, it's... I joke with my wife because she's like, we just need a good week of rain a couple weeks ago, and I said, we have gotten it, and the next week it's all supposed to be rain too. I'm like, you need to calm down with these needing of rain and stuff.
Yeah, man, it just leaves us muggy here in Virginia.
Yeah, so, and, you know, I've been tired because Sunday we cleaned up the whole yard to get ready for the baby shower this weekend. Man, I thought it was just two little branches that fell for that little tropical storm. Way more. Okay. I was like, God. So, but, you know, at least you didn't miss too much.
Yeah. We were only without. Yeah, I think we only had a power outage for a couple of hours there. It came back on around 8. Not like when the tropical storm came through at your house. You guys were out for like 40 hours, huh?
60 hours.
60 hours,
so, yeah.
Jeez.
But, yeah, so let's get into some lighter news, some baseball news now. So first thing first, if you haven't seen our reaction video of the fight between the A's and Astros on Sunday,
go check it out.
Please, yeah. But it's just ridiculous that, you know, the Astros are pretty much, they got swept. They were about to be swept, and they were just butthurt, and their emotions are getting all involved between Dusty Baker getting thrown out right before the fight, and then, you know, then the fight happens with Liriano and stuff.
Yeah, and Cintron. I mean, they're I don't know what the Alex Cintron, the hitting coach of the Astros, was thinking, but apparently after the Ramon Liriano got hit for a second time during this game, third time in the series, second time this game, he walks over. He's like, "Look, man, if you're trying to throw a slider," he's like, "Look, this is how you throw a slider. You gotta cut it." He was trying to tell the pitcher what to do, but apparently the hitting coach for some reason had something to say, and he said something about Loriano's mama. Apparently,
so apparently he said something in Spanish that you don't say about my mother, is what Liriano said, prompting him to charge the dugout, leading to the bench and cleaner brawl.
Yeah, and then when he charged the dugout, the catcher of the Astros tackled him, but Liriano said that he was protecting him. He said after they got on the pile, he was asking him, he's like, "You good, man? You good?" Because they were teammates, former teammates.
Yeah, it was more like, don't do it. Like, because remember, MLB said, do not do this.
I know. And it's the second time it's happened to the Astros.
Especially said they've like, okay, look, he knows him, so like, look, don't do this. Like, it's short season, he probably looking out for him, but it was still just a bad, you know. And Liriano, of course, he regretted his decision, said he regret charging him because he's a loser.
Exactly.
A suspension is understandable, which we do know what it is now, but I hope it's not that many games. At the end of the day, I'm here to win a World Series with Oakland Athletics. And unfortunately, you know, the suspensions did come out, and he got 6 games. Liriano did. And then, but the hitting coach, Alex Cintron, got 20 games.
Exactly. And you know, the one thing, a takeaway from this is that, yes, the coach got 20 games, which he absolutely deserves. Liriano was egged on. You know, I'm not sure if he's going to serve the full 6 games. He did appeal, and so he was put in the lineup today. And today he did good things. He actually robbed Brian Goodwin of the Angels. He robbed him of a home run in the 7th inning to tie the game today. And then he also, after that, he gave his team some insurance runs with a 2-out single that brought in 2 runs.
Good.
So he's in the lineup right now. He is appealing it.
So, but we also found out earlier today that, you know, speaking of Astros and fighting, that Joe Kelly with the sad face was 8 games. He got reduced to 5. So if you're thinking,
which is fine, he missed a game basically.
He took 8 games off. I'm like, okay, you know, since he's a reliever, you know, a couple games, but so if he went from 8 to 5, if you know, Liriano, we'll say maybe if we cut in half almost, you're thinking maybe 3-4 if he gets the peel.
Oh, maybe. I mean, because like you said, Joe Kelly's a reliever, and he got down to 5 games. And he's not going to come out there and pitch every single night. So realistically, that could be about a 3-game suspension. So so you know, it could be about that.
So you know, if he went from 8 to 5, we're hoping, you know, Liriano round 3 whenever they do agree.
Right, it would be about an equivalent, exactly. But the thing here is that this isn't going to be the last time with the Astros coming into some kind of scuffle because people are still going to throw the ball at them. They're still going to talk their stuff, and they're still going to lose. So I don't know what they're going to do, but they're not going to have a great season. They're going to be in a bad mood.
Like apparently Verlander is gearing up to hopefully start soon. So
wow.
He's he's going to test out probably a throwing session here soon to make sure he feels good. So there's that little hope. But after that, like we said, between Greinke, there is nothing, and that team is just falling apart fast. So now you think with, 3 weeks left before the trade deadline, some of these stars who are expiring contracts, do we try to get something or just let them walk?
Exactly. I think we touched base on this last time, and we both agreed that it might be a fire sale. It might be time to trade away guys to build your team back up.
Yeah, like people who expire their contract in the year or maybe have 1 year left to try to get some better prospects to rebuild. Because who knows, like Dusty Baker might not be there next year. Remember, he was a 1 year deal, so They might do a full rebuild. Coach, here's some young talent we got for you. You can build around, Alex, since he's still under his rookie year terms, and you get a couple other players. But
I think if they did a rebuild year, they would probably want to keep a veteran skipper around just to make things go smoothly. I would, anyways.
So it's be interesting to see what Houston does the next couple of weeks, because if they can turn around, then we all think that they could be a playoff team, especially with the expansion of the playoffs. But they need Verlander back and need pitching to step up, and so far it has not.
All right. Well, you know what? Speaking of time missed out, let's touch base on something a little bit more serious. The Cardinals have not played a game since July 29th. And they're not going to play the full 60 because think about it. How many games do they have left? If they got 50-something games?
They have 55 games,
and we only have about 40 days left of the season.
So when the other day I put that little video up on our Instagram that when they got postponed again, they're like they had to play 55 games in 46 days. Now they kept postponing more and more, so it's now you're talking about even less time. Completely probably double headers if you try to play.
And that's what I'm saying. You can't stack double headers on them every single day because that's what it's going to be. Because not only are they're not going to have any more breaks, you're going to try to shove double headers in there too. I don't think that's going to happen. They're definitely going to be one of those teams that we're going to talk about having to come down to the win percentage.
Yeah. So far it makes 18 games and counting that they have postponed. So literally they have played 5 games. 34 hits recorded for this team.
Wow.
And they have not played since July.
34 hits total for the season?
5 games.
Charlie Blackmon has more hits than that alone.
So,
wow.
Going...
That's
they're
crazy.
2-3. That's their record currently.
I can't even imagine that. Well, when Manfred was talking about it, he said he absolutely sees a path back for the Cardinals. But with that being said, he has to outline the team must have multiple days of clean test before they are cleared to play after a second quarantine in 12 days. So 15 games, like you said, that's about a quarter of the season that's already been postponed. They need to cram 55 games in 44 days. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, they are going to come back and play ball, but it's going to be a different stigma around that team. We know they're not going to play the full amount of games. So how are the other teams, if everybody does play their full amount of games, are they going to be salty if the team comes up short but still gets into playoffs with the percentage?
Yeah, because Manfred said that they hope to play enough games to be credible.
Exactly.
But how many doubleheader stuff they're going to play? They're going to be tired. This many games in a short time. I can't see them making the playoffs.
Yeah, man, this is a crazy year for the Major League. I see a lot of disadvantages. A lot of teams are playing in unfair fields, like Blue Jays have to play in somewhere that's not their home. Cardinals aren't going to play the full amount of games. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of rookies getting called to get ready. I know I told Alan earlier that Asa Lacy, who was drafted 4th overall by the Royals, I mean, he got put on the taxi squad basically, so he might be ready to go too. And he just got drafted this year.
Yeah, and the Cardinals, and we found out more and more information that some of these players have been going to the hospital, not staying, but getting IVs and stuff. So it's
they
not
got
like
to go
it's
to the ER,
mild
right?
symptoms. Yeah, so this is what the manager says. By and large, people are a pretty good spot. There are people that have symptoms, and there are a few who have visited the ER with some IVs and a little more clarity. Nobody has to stay, but there's people dealing with, this is real.
Absolutely.
So it's just a scary situation. And, of course, the Cardinals president's bummer about what's going on because they had to postpone Sunday's game. And they're like, they just want to make sure everything to prevent the spread. It's just
So
it's unsure what they're doing.
And that brings us to another point that we've already talked about: starting and stopping and starting and stopping. These guys have only played 5 games. They're got players that are going to the hospital getting IVs. They're not going to come back at full strength. They're going to feel weak, sick. They haven't really played or practiced. You're going to throw them right back in the mix without another summer camp. I mean, they're just going to have to go play, or you're going to have to get some rookies or some guys in there to play too, and they're not going to be, playing actual games to be ready to be in this situation. So it's not going to go well. People are going to get hurt when they get back.
Yeah. And then the thing was, like, with Miami, this was crazy when I was listening to doing the yard work on Sunday. Miami pitcher on Sunday when they faced DeGrom was the first pitcher to have his second start. Their other 9 games that they've played so far this season, they all have 9 different starters.
Wow. That's amazing.
So I'm like, wow.
I think I heard something about that. I think the Marlins, they said they had
a couple
like
bullpen games.
20-something pitchers throughout 3 or 4 games, a minimum.
Yeah.
Very small amount of...
he's their second start. Finally, I'm like, what?
Yeah, okay.
But, it's going to be a weird situation with the Cardinals and they come back. I think they're trying to shoot for Friday. They postponed the doubleheader tomorrow and on Thursday, so they'll try to clear everything up because one other person did test positive. So now they're just waiting for the all clear and play this weekend.
All right, well, let's hope they get back on the field. I hate to see them miss any more time than they already have.
Yeah, so the next is we talked about last week about the new protocol with the COVID, the mask, and everything. And it took, days for someone to violate protocol.
Yeah, man, that's pretty crazy. So the Indians, apparently after the game on Saturday, Zach Plesac and Mike Clevenger went out to hang out with some friends.
Yeah. So it first came out that Cleveland sent, Zach home by violating the protocol. He was upset that teammates, the club officials were going out, in Chicago Saturday night. Then what is it? They scratched Mike Clevenger Sunday, and it comes out to find out that he was actually involved as well. And Clevenger is one of the people at the beginning of the season, like, you don't have to worry about his players. We're going to be, we're going to handle it in-house. And he was, sticking up for his teammate, and come to find out he was with them.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I was thinking. When I first heard the story, they were talking about Zach Plesac first. And I was like, okay, so he violated team protocol, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw Mike Clevenger was also there, and I was like, wasn't he just denying not going out? I mean, that's pretty crazy. And I know when they were talking about Zach going out, their pitcher Bieber, we all know who's killing it this year, said that, we love Zach, we support him, but he screwed up. So now the team, they need to decide what they're going to do with him. I know they sent them back to where they go back to Cleveland and on like a taxi cab or whatever, a car ride. But they need to decide what they're going to do. Are they going to keep these people in the starting rotation? Are they going to move them to the bullpen? Or are they going to let them sit out?
They probably got to make them, I'm assuming, got to do multiple tests to make it clear. So, Clevenger is a big thing. And Plexus's not doing so bad either. Zach was 1-1 his 3 starts with a 1.29 ERA.
Yeah, that's great.
And 24 strikeouts. Clevenger so far this year has a 3.2 ERA, 15 strikeouts, and 16 innings this year so far.
Well, regardless, this is a huge hit to the Indians because they were 10-7 when this happened, and they were doing great. Bieber's having a Cy Young type of year, and you can't have your pitchers. They need to have them guys in a line because they're trying to make a real run, and you're screwing it up by going out on the Saturday just to have fun when your team's trying to win championships.
Yeah, apparently they went to a bar. Like, at first I was like, did they go to a restaurant and not get approved? Because remember, they added security guards. So did someone catch them? They didn't realize that it was the team security guard, or did it not give the information to these players? Like, this is the guy who's going to be watching y'all. Don't mess up.
Yeah.
Or they just hired someone and been keeping them secret. We don't know. But 2 people got affected. So hopefully this was the scare that more teams were like, okay, look, do not go out. We'll feed you in-house. Try to order, Grubhub, anything if you want something else.
Especially your big name guys. I mean, I get it. But anybody on the team right now it's huge to your team. I don't care who they are. It's just sad. Because, like I said, if the Indians start losing because of this situation, or they start, not functioning as a team because they're not as close because of what's going on, then hey, we're going to remember this moment as one of the reasons why.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to some more news. Speaking of pitchers who are out, the Mets' Marcus Stroman decided he wanted to follow Cespedes and opt out this year. We thought he was coming back.
Yeah, he was in line to pitch another bullpen session Tuesday, then probably been good to go because last week he did like an 85 pitch session. Everything was going well. And then he sat down and released that he decided, him and his family, that he was going to opt out, and he had a little news conference and said it was all the factors involved between everything going on in the league, and it's kind of scary. So he wasn't sure to protect himself and his family, so he decided to opt out. He said he's pretty much was almost ready to go. I think the bullpen session on Tuesday, that would have been the day he announced it, or the day before, that it would have been good to go, and he probably would have started this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, luckily he wasn't supposed to be the guy who was going to replace Waka. They already decided they're going to go between Lugo and Gesellman. But with that being said, Stroman only had 11 starts as a Met. He went 4-2 with a 3.77 ERA, and he's going to become a free agent. Yep. I mean, was this a waste of our time?
It's going to hurt if he does leave, if we can't re-sign him or he goes somewhere else, because we did give up a decent prospects to Blue Jays. At first, it was a steal for, we thinking it had to be a top-level prospect, but Clay was a decent. He made the Futures game that went to Toronto. So he has been with the team last year. He had some success. But he came coming back from his calf injury. He said it wasn't nothing to do about his injury. He was pretty much ready to go. It was just the outbreaks between the Marlins and Cardinals, spikes everywhere else in the country, people in baseball not voting protocol, and then Mets' upcoming away trip in Miami is what factored him to decide that he's not going to play this year.
Well, that's a big loss for us. I mean, the Mets have already lost Cespedes, who they were hoping was going to be the DH through the season, and that's what was one of the strengths preseason. They were saying, the Mets have a really good DH the whole season, but obviously we missed out on that. And then with our pitching being kind of injured right now, we need a Stroman back. But you know what? The Mets will prevail. They'll push through, and they'll try to get those W's. I know right now they're playing against the Nats, and as far as I know, they're still doing well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just unfortunate because when first with Walker went out, like, okay, should get Stroman back in a week.
Yep.
I was like, if we can just get one spot start, someone figure it out, we'll be fine. And then this came out, I was like, this hurts because now if you think about Noah's been out, we just lost Walker for possibly a couple weeks maybe.
Yep.
And then it's like Stroman's like, this hurts.
Yeah, man. As a Mets fan, I feel like every single year we go through this again and we talk about our starting pitching, how it looks so good on paper if they could all be healthy at the same time.
Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't about health. And
I know. There's other things at play now, but
it's just unfortunate. It's like, man.
There's just another chapter to the Mets not having their pitchers together.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
so next, Blue Jays, they got a home game finally
yesterday. Finally got a home game. However, it's not in Toronto.
So the Buffalo Blue Jays, as we can call them.
I like it. It has a good ring to it.
So, they had to redo the whole field. They had to make upgrades and stuff. But, it was weird. Like, they walked out like, they did a lot of work to the stadium to get this ready for Major League play.
Yeah, well, I didn't see them play on the field. I did see a flyover. The Blue Jays had on Twitter, they were showing what the field looks like and what upgrades they made. I think it's called Solon Field.
Yeah.
But you know what? It kind of reminds me of Harbor Park here. I can tell it's a AAA stadium. It has the look like it was built in the 90s. It reminds me of a dugout, or I'm sorry, because I saw the clubhouse. They showed the clubhouse and they showed where the players are going to be and all this stuff. It's kind of outdated. It reminds me of if we're watching Major League, like the movie, or Rookie of the Year when they're going in there. It's kind of dated. That's how I got about it. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was not bad because, so the projects they had to do was expand the clubhouse into the hallways for social distancing, upgrade the batting cages, the workout areas, the dugout, and the entire infield turf was replaced. The stadium, as you can see, got painted plenty of Blue Jays branding throughout.
Yeah.
The visitor clubhouse will be in a tent just off the stadium property. And then with no fans attendance, usually where, the 100 levels where you get your food and stuff is actually where both clubhouses service levels will be in charge. So the coaches normally will use the Buffalo room, and the visiting room becomes the Blue Jays stretching area.
Okay.
So, and too bad, the stadium faces the way they face because it faces away from the city. So if it could have turned, they could have had a better view. So
yeah, I mean it's all right. It looks fine. It's gonna do for these 60 games or half the 60 games, 30 games, whatever you're gonna play there. They tried
27.
Yeah,
they played a couple home games already.
In a pinch, it's fine.
Yeah, it's gonna do because with no Canada, then was it Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, the debacle, so they just end up using Buffalo, and hell, it might benefit their AAA players next year with all these upgrades they kind of did a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
A few projects, so.
All right. So let's take this on and talk about something in lighter news. Seems like Mike Trout. Everybody loves the guy. He's already had stuff sell for pretty high priced. Seems like he has another card that could set another record.
Yeah, so a few months ago, we talked about the red chrome Mike Trout card setting a record for the modern club record at $922,000 for that card. And, well, it was outdone last month by LeBron James rookie card that went for $1.8 million, setting a new record. Well, with about 10 days to go, the same card that Mike Trout, the red chrome, but this time this card is the Superfractor, which is a 1-of-1 version of that card.
Yeah, so this is a 2009 1-of-1 Bowman Chrome Draft Prospect Superfractor Series, graded 9 out of 10 by Beckett.
Yep.
It's mint with certified autograph issue logo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously it's a great card. It's a 1-of-1 Mike Trout autographed, and it's 2009. And I think it's going to go, it's at like, what, 1.2 million?
It's at 1.45 as of right now.
Nice.
So
okay.
it still has about 10 days to go. So, it, someone might swoop in. It might top LeBron James. But the funny thing, LeBron James card's like at a 25, which after it's sold, LeBron's like, oh, that's good to know. I have a few of those in my safe.
And not like he's going to need to sell them ever.
Yeah, he's going to hold on to them and give them out. Or who knows?
He's got $1 billion contract with Nike. There's no way he needs to sell a card for $1 million.
But it's just funny that he's collected a few of his rookies and like, so that's what it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, shoot. Makes me want to go out to Target and buy me a set of cards so I could try to get me $1 million one.
Yeah, so, it's interesting. We'll see what it goes for. LeBron, Mike Trout, it makes perfect sense, these two battling for the spot.
Absolutely.
So this next subject came in a little bit of shocking news. The Reds could have fans in September.
Yeah. So the fans have outlined, they submitted a plan to allow fans in the stands in the state of Ohio. So they sent it to the state of Ohio and the MLB. It looks like they've already gotten approved through the city, I think.
Yes,
but that's
the city of Cincinnati and the Hamilton County.
Right. So, but like Alan said, the earliest that this is going to happen is September.
Yep.
I don't think it's worth it.
It's going to be interesting, especially the next subject we talk about, because, if they get the green light, you're talking about a couple weeks, and then who gets tickets, who doesn't. It's like, so whoever got season tickets or who paid, are they going to have an opportunity to get tickets first? Like, how many percentage of we're talking about?
Right.
Because, Korea and Japan are starting to let their fans in, but it is greatly spaced out.
It really is. Yeah, I saw a couple
NASCAR was the first to do it, and they went from usually holding 100,000 people. You're only allowing I think 25 to 30,000.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching a KBO game the other day, and there was fans in the stands, but like you said, they're really spread apart. In this situation, I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, if they bring them back in September, how many home games are they going to have?
Yeah.
Does it make sense hiring all these people, bringing these people in? To all these things have to start moving just to bring people in. Does it make sense to open up the food stores or anything? I don't know. It doesn't seem like a good concept to me. I understand that you want fans at the games, but if you're bringing them in September and you only have about 4 or 5 games at home, I'm not sure what the deal is, but I don't know if it's worth it. What do you think, Alan?
They have 11 games in September.
Yeah, and who knows if it's going to happen.
And really,
the beginning
it's the
of
last
September.
2, because September 1st and 2nd they play St. Louis, and then they're on the road that next week. So really, it's that they have literally 9 games in a week of home games. That's it. That'd be their stretch.
So it doesn't make sense to
Plus,
open it for those first 2 games.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's if you literally.
Who's going to work it for 11 games? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it'd be very limited. You'll have to say, look, you can bring your own food.
It's a good gesture. I just don't think it's worth it. And I think the MLB is going to shut that down too.
Yeah, especially I don't see it. You're talking about pretty much a month from now, if you think about it, for those home games.
And what happens, and so not only that, what happens if they're not in the running at that time? Nobody's going to want to come to the game if they're not in the running.
Yeah.
Who do they play? Anybody of worthy? Well, we don't know because it's still, it's a weird season right now. Right now, you might be excited to see the Orioles play. I don't know.
So their games that they play is Pittsburgh, 3 games.
Nobody wants to see that.
White Sox for 3 games.
Maybe.
And then Milwaukee for 3 games.
Maybe.
That's their home games.
See, these aren't drawing crowds in. If you're playing the Yankees or the Dodgers or something crazy, yes, but I don't see crowds coming out just to see the Pirates play.
Yeah, you could see a scenario where fans could return to outdoor events, what the Ohio governor said, and as long as capacity is reduced and people keep their distance. I don't know. It's gonna be tough to sell me. I feel like on that.
All right, me too. Well, speaking of teams and possibly not making the playoffs, our next topic is: could the MLB do a playoff bubble site?
So this is something that's gaining more and more traction. As NBA and NHL prove that this is possible, hosting sports in a pandemic bubble-like environment to avoid outbreaks. Major League Baseball is thinking about following suit for the playoffs.
I kind of like this idea just because NHL, nobody's testing positive for coronavirus.
NBA has no one either.
NBA, same thing. There are people who have been going to strip clubs or whatever, and they're getting slapped with suspensions. But like Alan said, they're not testing positive. I like it because so far MLB's testing positive all day long. I mean, we can't stop it. So I think they should do this.
Yeah, according to they're having preliminary discussions about having a playoff bubble like model. Discussions come after outbreaks, of course, with the Cardinals in Miami about the proposed games. The MLB, looking at a multi-city format, much like NHL did with Toronto and Edmond, that could be a wild card round and 3 city hubs before hosting 2 cities with later rounds.
Okay.
So of course the cities that you think about seeing with multiple stadiums, you're talking about Chicago, New York, Southern California stand out. And of course you can do the spring training facilities for the first couple rounds and then host we talked about before the season about the World Series could be in a set location like LA or Miami.
So you're thinking they could have they could have playoff games and spring training facilities? That'd be weird, man.
Like a hub. It would be too, yeah.
It would just be weird because I know as a player they were probably when you talk about playoffs, it's big lights, huge fans, big stadiums, everything's going crazy. But if you're playing out in a place where you have spring training where you're usually relaxed, there's not as many fans and it's kind of kicking it, it'll feel kind of weird, I think, the atmosphere anyways.
Yeah. I can definitely see New York and Southern California as the host cities.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I can see where they can do Chicago, New York, and Southern California as the wild card rounds, and then you pick 2 of them for, the other 2 series, and then you pick 1 site for the World Series.
Well, I mean, all I know is if they are thinking about doing this, they're going to have to make this call very soon because they got a lot of things they got to do to make it happen.
Yeah, because
a lot of accommodations.
Yeah, because if you do 3 cities for the wild cards. What we're talking, it's 16 teams, and they're all going to play. So you separate between 3. That's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get hotel rooms. You got to get everybody in there. You got to get all the personnel. You got to get all the tests. You got to make sure nobody leaves. You just got to. There's a lot you got to do. So you got to make sure the city's on board with this. Look, I don't know, man. If it could happen, it can happen. It's just they need to make a decision now and get the parts moving.
Yeah, I think by the end of August, it needs to be set so they can have the whole month of September to prepare. So that way, come October for the start of the playoffs, it's ready and good to go.
Right, and it might make sense for them to wait till then as well because we might have a better understanding of what's going on in September with the COVID-19, and maybe we could open up things more.
Yeah, so we'll definitely keep an eye and see if this comes thing because it won't be a bad idea. Other sports are doing it. MLS just finished their return to play tournament.
Yeah.
They have their champion now. So it's a weird scenario. So this could be something that possibility. So we don't have, people going out. And so far I've watched NBA has been loving life. They picked a perfect location in Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's always
I think
sunny.
Florida would be a good option.
Yeah, that's what I said. When they said something about, Florida and Arizona, I'm like, well, it's spring training facilities.
I know. That's the only thing that throw me off is the spring training facility. But I think it'll work.
Yeah, it could possibly work. So we'll definitely see what MLB does with that. So it's going to be interesting. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. All right, next we're going to talk about the current standings in MLB baseball. It's still weird looking at some of these standings with mostly our division still.
Yeah, it was definitely weird looking at our division. But yeah, let's go through it. I think we start with the AL.
AL, okay. So, of course, the AL, we have 2 teams on top of the AL East with the Yankees and the Rays.
Yankees and the Rays, yeah. I have them at 10-6 and 9-8. I'm not sure if they played any other games.
So Yankees are 11-6 and Tampa Bay is at 10-8.
Exactly. So they're still doing their thing. And like we said, this is a pretty tough division in general. I mean, it's still kind of early, but the Yankees are at 11 wins, and the Rays are at 10. They're kind of separating themselves
a little bit, and then Baltimore.
Yes,
Don't forget about out Baltimore. Wins like the walk, not even the walk off, but the go ahead. What is it? In the park, home run last night.
They're trying to prove us wrong, man. From Austin. Was it Austin who did it?
Yes, it was Austin who did it. And but what makes it even worse is it makes Philly look so terrible.
I know, it's so sad.
It's like
and
the plays. I'm
like we said, it wasn't the coach.
Yeah,
it's just something's wrong with the team chemistry. I don't know what's going on in Philly. But the funny thing is like you said, they're trying to prove us wrong because me and Alan, we've been bashing on the Orioles all year this year so far. We've been saying, the Orioles are going to be one of those teams not to watch. But I said, look, in this short season, we were joking though, but I said I wouldn't be surprised if the Orioles even tried to make a run for it.
So if Baltimore keeps this up, do you see some of their other top prospects get the call to the league to actually be competitive? Like we have a shot this year now.
And it's crazy that they're doing this, too, because we saw, Trey Mancini's not playing this year, and he's one of the biggest contributors last year. And I think they're also missing another big guy, aren't they?
They lost a couple players last year, and, they're full rebuild mode. Like, they weren't expecting much, but they are putting wins together.
And that's why, because there's no expectations. They're out here doing their thing because they're not supposed to be winning. So they're like, why not just go out and win?
Yeah. So, Baltimore is at 8-7, at 2 games back of the Yankees. Toronto's at 6-8, 3.5 back, and then Boston is 6-11, 5 games back of the division.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those years that Boston's just going to be there, and by the end of it, they're going to try to think about next year.
Yeah. So next we got the Central. I guess a little changes. We have the Twins leading the division yet again, like we talked about last week, that they have one of the best records at 11-7 currently. But then the next team is with a surprise.
Yeah, and it's another team we bash on, right?
One of the teams that supposed to have the worst record in baseball.
The Tigers.
Tigers at 9-7, 1 game back of the Twins.
Do the Tigers have Miggy Cabrera?
Yes.
Oh, okay. He's been quiet.
Yeah, he's not bombing like he used to, but they're putting wins together. It's surprising.
And then, like we just talked about, the Indians.
Yep, at 10-8.
But this is the sad thing, is because the Indians are putting it together, and they're missing 2 pitchers right now.
And then we have the White Sox at 10-9.
Yes, this division is tough.
We knew this division would be tough. Besides
did.
Tigers, we figured, Twins, Cleveland, and White Sox were going to be competitive. And we knew, the Royals is a very young rebuilding team, and Tigers are still young.
We didn't think the Tigers were going to be up there.
Tigers are making noise right now. They could
sure
fall off, just like Baltimore.
But see, this division is a reason why they needed to do top 2 from the division plus 2 wild cards. Because you never know who's going to show up.
Because, in Cleveland, we thought, before the whole season, if they bomb, they could start trading some of their Liriano, because, he has 1 year deal left. This is time to start rebuilding. But Bieber and the boys have stepped up.
Bieber and the boys, I like it.
They're not trying to give up yet.
Yeah, man. They're trying to win. I get it. This whole division's feeding off itself, man. Everybody's trying to win.
And then we have the AL West with Oakland at 13-6. Clearly the team in this division right now.
And we like the A's coming into the season. We were like, these guys are the guys
we
who are
weren't
going
sure
to sneak
about
up
the
on
pitching.
you. Right.
That's why we gave Houston the edge at first, but that was, of course, before Verlander and all the injuries and suspensions.
Exactly.
But we're like, Oakland can do it.
They sure can, and they're showing it.
Before COVID, I picked them for the division because I figured they had the team with the young pitching. I figured they would figure it out eventually within that long season, but short season, I was iffy. Apparently, they are going at it.
Yeah, I love it.
But the next team, who's in second place at 7-9, is the Texas Rangers, who was about a week ago had the worst record in the AL.
Wow, I wonder what changed.
They went from worst record to now a playoff team as of right now.
And that's what can happen in a short season. Yeah, Texas ain't playing around right now. They're starting to show up.
Lance Lynn has been doing his thing.
Yes, he has.
Won again.
Lance Lynn
this
has
weekend.
Been crushing.
But the whole division is with Texas 7-9, Houston 7-10,
Yep.
Angels 7-12, and Seattle 7-12.
Yeah, and like we said, this division is going to get 2 automatically.
Yes.
So that second place is up for grabs without a doubt.
Yeah, and with Angels and Mike Trout, are just trying. It's an iffy team. We see with Baltimore and Detroit. Anyone can be. Seattle might make a run, and then call up their young guys. You never know.
But so that's what's going to be interesting this year. If we get to the playoffs and you got Detroit, you got Baltimore in there, you got the Rangers in there, I'm going to be like, yo, what's going on? This is going to be interesting because it's not the same. It's not going to be the same teams. It could be, but I'm just saying if this happens, because right now it could absolutely happen. It's going to be an interesting playoffs.
Yes, very interesting.
Guys you don't ever hear about because they're not in big markets.
Yeah.
Or they're not getting showtime in the playoffs.
Or like young prospects who just put it together like, this is a kid you might want to watch next few years.
Yes.
He's here a little earlier, but this is a guy you might want to pay attention to.
All right.
So then we have the National League.
Yes.
The East, it's weird.
It's weird. The Marlins, another team we don't expect to be
So,
crushing.
technically the Miami Marlins are leading the division at a 7-4 record. Of course, all their games they haven't played, but by percentage, they have the lead.
And out of the games they've played, they don't have a bad record, 7-4. That's not bad.
They finally lost their first series against Mets this past weekend. But I think currently, I remember hearing before we went on that they are leading the Blue Jays right now.
Wow.
So if they put that win, they'll be 8-4. So the next team is Atlanta at 11-8.
Yep, the Braves. We expected them to be good.
Yeah.
We both liked them. As much as we tried to root for our boys, talking about this before the season started, we knew deep in our hearts Atlanta's going to be a tough team.
Yeah, we knew 2 years ago when they won the division. Everyone thought it was way earlier. We knew these guys had a bunch of young talent down there. Like, okay, look, if they're already competing, this is going to be a dangerous team when these boys show up and they start being in their prime.
And they start clicking like Acuna. The first series when he played, I mean, he wasn't feeling it. But look, come about a week after the season starts, next thing you know, it's all clicking. And when all cylinders are running, they're running pretty fast.
And then especially getting Nick Markakis back last week, he's just added another bat that's off the bench DH option. So, but Acuna had a little injury, like he was scratched from lineups, but still with Markakis back, you can easily throw him in the lineup. So next, currently, it is the Washington Nationals at 6-7.
Yep.
They're still trying to figure out their team. Philly at 5-7, which is just looking terrible. With like we said about the in the park home run, making terrible plays. Like the team looks awful. So a lot of people are like, it wasn't the coach.
I don't think it was the coach. I thought the coach was great.
It's just unfortunately has some injuries. The guys, the first time they're playing together, like with Harper, like first year you won, and they didn't have pitching. Mm-hmm. Wheeler's doing good for them. Unfortunately, I don't want to say too much on that. I loved him as a Met, but he's having a great start for them.
Yeah, good for him.
So, and then the Mets finish at a 7-11 record currently because, with the other three teams in our division besides Atlanta haven't played many games, but us and Atlanta have.
Yep.
And ours is just pitching injuries.
It's always pitching
bullpen.
and injuries and opt-outs now. So
And apparently not hitting people when they're, in scoring positions.
Man.
We have the most left on bases in the league. And
I'll tell you, man, all the games that I've watched almost every game the Mets have played, and we have left so many runners on, and it's just ridiculous. Like, there's games that we should have easily won. We had bases loaded or guys on second and third in scoring position, and we just
one out.
We just left them. Yeah, one out. Like the other day, we had bases loaded against the Nationals this week, and I'm thinking Dominic Smith comes out and pops one up. I'm like, man, you can't do that. At least hit a long out.
Yeah, because it was the game we walked aside. It was close, and we're like, okay, let's finish this last week. And he popped it up. I'm like, all you have to do is get to warning track.
Yeah,
to tie this game.
and you're the guy who can do that.
So,
anyways, let's not talk about the Mets. Let's move on. Let's go to the Central.
We have the Cubs leading the division at 11-3.
Yes,
they're still
Cubs.
putting together.
Yeah, we thought this might be the last run, but hey, who knows? They could do more than this.
Yeah, like they have pretty much the best record win percentage in the Major League Baseball right now. We thought it was going to be another team, but it's the Cubs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they haven't played a couple games because of St. Louis, but they still 11-3. You can't complain that.
No.
The Reds, which we thought would be right in the mix, they're still right there, just below 500 at 8-9. Milwaukee is at 7-8. St. Louis is at 2-3.
Yeah, I know. That's so sad.
And then Pittsburgh at 3-13, which we all knew,
which is terrible.
Which is the worst record.
You guys
in baseball.
doing worse than a team that they can't even play games.
So I texted you about this weekend. I felt bad for this pitcher on Saturday. I think it was. Yeah, was it Saturday? Yeah, because I went to my mom's house to figure out the whole baby shower thing. The pitcher gave up 4 home runs and 5 batters.
Wow!
In the top of the first,
he did not have the stuff that day.
I was like, yo, did they really just do this? It was like, I'm like, oh my God.
Well, what inning was it?
First.
That's what I'm saying. There's not much you can do. I mean, after the second home run, you probably should have started warming somebody up. I'm not sure what they did, but to give up four.
But yeah, it was 4 home runs, 5 runs scored, because I think it was 3 single and a double home run.
Man.
It was just ridiculous. I'm like, wow. And it was a close game because they played Detroit. It was like going back and forth there for a little bit. I'm like, man, 2 shitty teams.
So how bad would you feel? Would you feel bad as the pitcher who's out there getting beat up in the first inning, like Shohei or the guy for the Pirates, or would you feel worse as a guy taking a no bid into the 6th and Hunter Pence missing a pop up?
Oh, Cueto. I bet oh, man. Especially, okay, it was bad that it was, a veteran back then. And if it was a rookie who misjudged a ball, okay, look, you learn from this.
Especially a veteran who was also in the Sticky Bandits. I mean, you got Hunter Pence out there looking like the guy from Home Alone, and he can't get it. It's right there.
Look, like, where is it?
At least he had fun with it. I don't remember the tweet, but he poked fun at himself for not catching it. But man, oh man.
God, yeah,
so
that was terrible.
I think I'd feel worse. I don't know what his pitch count was. I'm not sure about that.
It was like the 6th inning, so it wasn't, very close.
I'm just wondering, was he dealing it? Was he getting through with like 60 pitches or 50 pitches, or was he close to like 90? Because he wasn't going to finish the game.
Older, yeah.
I don't know, but if I was Cueto,
now if it was the 8th inning, that's when I would have been pissed. Very pissed.
Regardless,
like 6th inning, it's like that's when you finally start discussing it a little bit. Like okay, this could be.
If I'm the scorekeeper, I'm thinking this has to be an error, right? It's not because he didn't touch it, but it should be an error because he didn't do it. He didn't move. He was just like, "Where is it? Behind you." Oh yeah. All right, let's move.
Then the last division in the National League is the West, which is a team that has been shocking people. Because we thought, this could be a rebuild year. Arenado was not happy.
Yeah.
I'm like, are they going to ship him? There was talks, but Colorado is at 12-6.
Yeah, the Rockies are doing a thing, man, and a lot of ups to Charlie Blackmon for that.
Yes.
Yeah, they're doing it.
They are.
But this division is still great because let's not forget who else is in this division.
So, and then also, we thought was the clear favorite for the World Series is the LA Dodgers at 11-7, only 1 game behind them, but also tied at 11-7 as well is the San Diego Padres.
Wow, who'd have saw that one?
And then Arizona and the Giants are tied at 8-11,
which is not bad. It puts me in the same category as the AL Central with the NL West because all these teams are doing really good.
Yeah.
And I know last week we were really talking about and really excited about seeing the Giants play because what those 2 guys are doing, Mike Yaz and Donnie Bombers or Barrels.
So if you look at the AL currently for the playoff position, you would have the Yankees and Tampa Bay for the East. Central would be the Twins and Detroit, and West would be technically Oakland and Texans would get the lead. And then 2 wildcard teams would both come from the Central with Cleveland and the White Sox.
That's not a bad lineup.
And then National League, you would have Miami and Atlanta representing the East, Cubs and Reds representing the Central, and then currently you would have Colorado and Dodgers representing the West, and then the 2 teams for the extra wild card would be, of course, Padres, and looks like it would be had to be a playing game between Arizona and San Francisco.
Like I said, the National League West has a pretty good division right now.
Currently, yes. So it's interesting.
All right. Well, we'll talk more about the standings next time. Hopefully we'll have more games underway, and maybe we'll see some more Cardinals games. Who knows? But
hope.
Let's talk about something great. Let's talk about the players of the week.
So this is our players of the week, not the ones who MLB select.
Although they could be the same.
They could be. So let's go and start with your National League pitcher of the week, Alan.
Okay. So for the National League, I didn't have a pitcher. I picked 2 players.
Okay.
Yeah, because, the first week I would say, I got a pitcher and whatever. But as time goes on, I'm just going to pick, how we go. I'm not sure. Right. So the first one I got, everybody should have. Charlie Blackmon.
Yes, he is my NL hitter of the week.
When I wrote this, he was on a 13-game hitting streak. He was batting .484 with 3 homers and 19 RBIs. Chuck Nasty is doing his thing. I think he actually got his batting average up to .500.
Yeah.
But it went back down slightly as of today, I think, or yesterday.
So what I got for Blackmon, I got him for the week, last 7 days. This is for last night since we were supposed to record last night.
Yes.
But he had 17 hits, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, 4 walks, and batting .654. this past week.
That is disgustingly nasty. Chuck Nasty's doing it. He's one of the biggest reasons why we were talking about the Rockies at all.
So, we talk about the early season, like it's 400 possibility. Now the question is, if he hits 500, is it equivalent to what a 400 regular season would have been?
As much as I'd like to say yes, I'm going to say no, because this year is full of a lot of opt-outs. There's a lot of rookies, a lot of things moving on that have a big deal. Because if he's out there playing against the top of the top pitching prospects and stuff, he might not be as lucky. I don't know. I'm going to say no, but I'm giving him his props, because this man is doing his thing. Because I also heard that this season has the worst batting average for players. So with that being said, in a field of that, he's killing it.
Yeah, it definitely could be, because he is killing it. Like
if he hits 500, are you gonna give it to him?
It'd be close, because you think about it. Like
500 is crazy regardless. Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? The one reason that I would give it to him is because he's still playing against professionals.
Yeah.
These guys get paid to play the game at the top level, and if he's out here hitting 500, like you put him up there, that's it.
If he goes like 490 something, I'm still probably gonna give it to him, because it's not like where he gets barely 400 for the shortened season. It's like he went above 400. He's close to 500, which it could be close to what a 400, but we don't know what a longer season would have done for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, you always see guys who crush the first half and disappear the second half, or vice versa.
So we'll see if he can keep this up. But anywhere near this, God, he is having a great season for the
So
Rockies.
I'm assuming he was your National League player?
He's my hitter, yeah.
You want to go with your pitcher then?
So my pitcher of the week for this past week is Trevor Bauer.
Bauer, yeah.
He went 1-0, 16 pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 12 strikeouts. He's been consistently doing his thing. It's a contract year for him, so he's just doing his thing for the Reds.
I like it. Yeah, I absolutely like it. Great pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my other National League player is Fernando Tatis Jr.
He won the actual player of the week for baseball, and he is on a straight tear.
Yeah, when I wrote this, he had 8 home runs, 18 RBIs. His batting average is .328. But the last 7 games, he had 6 home runs, 9 RBIs, and was batting .407.
Yeah.
How do you not like this guy? Like, Charlie Blackmon's crushing it. So is Fernando Tatis Jr. That's why I had to have 2 of these guys, because these stats are amazing in my opinion.
This is what unfortunately about last season is, with him being injured, missing the majority of the year. If he had a full season, he probably would have been right there with Alonso for the Rookie of the Year, and probably been a lot closer, depending on what Tatis would have done. And him and Machado are just starting to click now, like that lineup. And you can see where they going toe-to-toe with the Dodgers. Like, this team is ready.
Yeah, man.
They're calling people up, and he is definitely helping. He's like another face for the future of baseball. And what makes it worse is seeing this guy does this is the White Sox traded him for James Shield.
Yes.
Not prime James Shield, like towards the end of his career James Shield. And Tatis is going to be the face of baseball here in the next year for sure with Acuna. Like, if he's already there.
Right, and like you said, it's just crazy because the White Sox themselves have a nice young squad, and what could have been, and
God, what could have been?
That's what I'm saying. What could have been if you would have kept the guy, because your team already looks pretty solid as a young squad, and if you could have had all these guys around for 4 or 5 years, I think there would have been a championship for sure in the making. So let's move on to the AL Players of the Week. I only wrote down one.
Okay,
My player of the week is Mike Trout.
Yeah.
This is my guy. The last 7 games, he has 11 hits, 6 home runs. He hit a home run today as well as we speak, and 10 RBIs. Batting average is .367. I think for the season, he had 14 RBIs, 7 home runs, and batting .333. So you could say the last 7 games, or ever since his kid was born, he's been crushing. He's been on a tear.
He came back last Tuesday. We talked about it last week since we did the podcast later in the week. Like that dad juice, like the weight is off his shoulder. Like
yeah, exactly. He can relax.
Like he's balling right now, and it's straight ridiculous. He was my AL hitter of the week because what he has done. Like, he's literally picked this team up off the back. Like, okay, it's time to play baseball now, which we all thought, like, with his son being born, like, is he going to come back? Is he going to play? But he is straight killing it. He's seen the ball well.
Yes, he is
doing everything he can to help his team.
We just need the rest of his team to follow suit.
So I had him for my hitter as well, but then I also have a teammate for him for the AL pitcher of the week.
Okay, who you got?
I have Dylan Bundy.
Dylan Bundy. Was he a former Oriole?
Former Oriole that traded him this offseason, and he went 1-0, complete game, 4 hitter, 1 earned run, and 10 strikeouts.
A complete game.
Yes.
10K, 1 earned run, 4 hits.
Yep.
That's pretty good. Man, that's solid.
Former top prospect for the Orioles. They traded him this offseason, because they try and get some more prospects. And
look,
Angels needed a pitcher, and they might find him. Let's see if he can keep putting together for the rest of the season.
And you know how players sometimes when they move to other teams, they get a whole new life to them.
Yeah.
And that's great news because this is a short season. So anytime your starting pitcher can throw a complete game and save your bullpen, that's going to help your team out tremendously.
Yeah, and they're getting another pitcher back finally from the guy they got from Atlanta. Tehran. He finally was supposed to make a start this week, or I think maybe he already did. So they're finally getting their team together. So maybe they can make a run in that division. We'll have to keep an eye with Trout.
Look, I'd be excited to see them make a run.
Drinking that Mike Secret Sauce, dad juice, whatever he's doing.
I want to see the Angels in the playoffs finally.
And they have a shot with that extra playoff spot. And like I said, they're only technically 1 game out of Texas right now with Houston bombing it. So
all right, there's still time.
So pretty much that is it for this week. So please like, share, and subscribe. Keep an eye out. We are going to do a giveaway, probably 2.
Giveaway.
So 2 of the pops that we got on our desk, we have the 2 pops from Major League. We're going to do probably 2 giveaways, 1 on social media, 1 here on YouTube.
Yeah, we got Jake Taylor and we got Wild Thing.
So, if you're a baseball fan, why not have these in your, office, at home, work, around your man cave. So
exactly.
Please stay tuned to that, and we'll give more details here soon. We'll see y'all next time.
All right.
Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up.